Have you ever faced a decision so difficult that no option seemed right? What if I told you that the key to making wise decisions was discovered thousands of years ago by a man whose wisdom was said to be a divine gift? Today, we're diving into the story of King Solomon, the man who asked God for wisdom and became known as the wisest ruler in history. But this isn't just a history lesson. The wisdom of Solomon has practical applications for our lives today. Whether it's making career choices, handling relationships, or navigating everyday dilemmas. King Solomon was the son of David, one of the greatest kings of Israel. When Solomon took the throne, he was young and inexperienced. He had enormous shoes to fill. Instead of asking for wealth, power, or a long life, Solomon made an unusual request. He asked God for wisdom to govern his people justly. God granted Solomon's request, and his wisdom became legendary. He wrote thousands of proverbs, made groundbreaking economic policies, and resolved disputes with unparalleled insight. But what exactly made Solomon wise? And how can we use his principles to make better choices in our own lives? One of the most famous examples of Solomon's wisdom is the case of two women who came to him with a heartbreaking dispute. Both had recently given birth, but one baby had died. Each woman claimed the surviving baby as her own. Now, Solomon didn't have DNA tests. There were no surveillance cameras. How could he determine the real mother? Here's where his wisdom shines. Instead of trying to investigate the case through traditional means, Solomon tested their hearts. He proposed a shocking solution: cut the baby in half and give each woman a piece. Instantly, one woman cried out, begging the king to spare the child's life and give the baby to the other woman. The other woman, however, agreed to the division. In that moment, Solomon knew the real mother, the one who would rather lose her child than its seed it harmed. He ruled that she should have the baby, and the case was closed. His judgment wasn't just about intelligence, it was about understanding human nature and getting the truth in unexpected ways. So how does this ancient story apply to us today? Number one, emotions reveal the truth. In any conflict, whether at work, in relationships, or personal struggles, people's emotions often reveal their true motives. Pay attention to not just what people say, but how they react. A person's strongest reaction can reveal what they value most. This applies in negotiations, leadership, and even personal disputes. Number two, think beyond the obvious. Solomon didn't look for surface-level evidence. He created a scenario that exposed people's real intentions. When making decisions, ask yourself, what's really at play here? What's the bigger picture? This is especially true in business, where short-term gains can sometimes lead to long-term failures. Strategic thinking requires looking at potential consequences before making choices. Number three, the best decisions aren't always the easiest. Imagine being the woman who had to let go of her child just to save its life. Sometimes making the right choice means sacrificing personal gain or comfort for the greater good. In leadership, ethical dilemmas, and even personal choices, doing what's right often requires courage and selflessness. Number four, test people's intentions with unconventional methods. Solomon didn't directly ask who's the real mother, because both women would have claimed the title. Instead, he created a situation that forced their true intentions to surface. In our own lives, when dealing with uncertain relationships or business partnerships, sometimes asking indirect questions or setting up small tests can reveal more about a person's real character than direct confrontation. Number five, use wisdom to mediate conflict. Solomon's story teaches us that wise decision-making isn't about picking sides. It's about uncovering the truth. Whether mediating a workplace dispute, resolving family issues, or even settling legal matters, understanding people's true emotions and motivations can lead to fair and effective resolutions. Number six, be a good listener before making decisions. Solomon was known for listening before speaking. Wise decision-making requires gathering all the facts, asking the right questions, and withholding judgment until the full picture is clear. In today's fast-paced world, taking time to pause, reflect, and process information can prevent costly mistakes. Solomon was wise, but he wasn't perfect. His wisdom made him a great king, but over time, he became complacent. He accumulated vast wealth, married hundreds of wives from foreign nations, and eventually turned away from the very God who gave him wisdom. His later years were marked by political instability and personal dissatisfaction. This teaches us an important lesson. Wisdom must be continuously applied. Having knowledge isn't enough. It must be lived out daily. So, we've explored Solomon's incredible wisdom and how it applies to modern decision-making. But here's the real question. How can you cultivate that same kind of wisdom in your own life? Many people assume wisdom is something you either have or don't, like an inherited trait. But Solomon's story shows us that wisdom is something you can develop through intentional habits and choices. Let's break it down into 5 key steps. Number 1, seek wisdom like Solomon did. Pray for it. The first and most powerful lesson we could take from Solomon is that he asked for wisdom. He didn't rely on his own intelligence or experience. He humbled himself before God and said, I don't know how to lead these people. Give me wisdom. 1 Kings 3:9. Think about that for a second. Solomon had everything. Power, wealth, and prestige. Yet he knew that without wisdom, none of it mattered. So what's the takeaway for us? If we want wisdom, we have to ask for it. This can be as simple as praying before making important decisions, seeking clarity when you're facing uncertainty, asking God to help you think clearly and make choices that align with His will. The Bible promises that in James 1:5 that if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault. It's not about being perfect, it's about being willing to seek guidance. Number 2, slow down and think before you act. One of Solomon's greatest strengths was that he didn't react impulsively. He took time to process situations before making decisions. Think about the famous story of the 2 women fighting over the baby, 1 Kings 3:16 through 28. He didn't rush to a judgment. Instead, he observed, listened, and tested their hearts before giving his ruling. Now, contrast that with how we often make decisions today. We react emotionally. We make choices based on short-term gratification. We feel pressure to decide right now rather than thinking things through. A practical way to apply Solomon's wisdom is to develop the habit of pausing before making decisions, especially big ones. Take a step back, weigh the pros and cons, seek wise counsel, consider the long-term consequences. Wisdom isn't about being the fastest thinker, it's about being the clearest thinker. Number 3, surround yourself with wise people. Solomon didn't rule alone. He had advisors, counselors, and elders who helped him navigate the challenges of leadership. Even the wisest person in history understood that wisdom grows in community. Who you surround yourself with shapes your decisions, whether you realize it or not. If your circle's full of impulsive, short-sighted, and negative people, their mindset will influence you. But if you intentionally seek out people who are thoughtful, grounded, and wise, their perspective will help make your choices better. So ask yourself, who do you turn to when you need advice? Do you have mentors or friends who help you grow in wisdom? Are you open to learning from others, or do you only seek validation? Proverbs 13:20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." If you want to develop wisdom, start by building relationships with people who already have it. Number 4, learn from your mistakes and the mistakes of others. Solomon wasn't perfect. Despite his wisdom, he made serious mistakes, compromising his faith, marrying foreign wives who led him astray, and allowing his heart to drift from God. 1 Kings 11:1 through 6. His downfall teaches us something important. Wisdom isn't just about making good decisions. It's also about learning from bad ones. Instead of beating yourself up over past mistakes, reflect on them. What did you learn? How can you avoid making the same mistake again? What wisdom can you gain from the experience? And don't just learn from your own mistakes, learn from others' mistakes too. There's wisdom in paying attention to history, mentors, and even biblical stories, so you don't have to repeat the same missteps. Number 5, live by timeless principles, not trends. Solomon's wisdom was rooted in timeless truths, not emotions, not public opinion, and definitely not the shifting values of the world. He built his life on principles that stood the test of time. But today, we're constantly bombarded with new trends, quick fix solutions, and hacks that promise success. What's popular isn't always wise. So how do we apply this? Before making a decision, ask yourself, am I choosing this because it's wise or because it's popular? Base your values on truth, not trends. Seek wisdom that lasts beyond the moment. Proverbs 4:7 says, "The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it cost all you have, get understanding." True wisdom is worth more than money, success, or popularity because it guides you for a lifetime. Cultivating wisdom isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about developing the right mindset and habits that lead to better decisions. If you want to live wisely, start today. Pray for wisdom. Slow down and think before you act. Surround yourself with wise people. Learn from mistakes, both yours and others. Follow timeless principles, not passing trends. King Solomon was known for his wisdom, but wisdom isn't just for kings. It's for anyone who's willing to seek it. So, what's the biggest lesson we can learn from Solomon? Wisdom isn't just about making good choices. It's about living a life that reflects deeper understanding, patience, and truth. Whether you're navigating work decisions, family disputes, or personal dilemmas, the principles of Solomon's wisdom remains relevant. So, which of these lessons stood out to you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe for more Bible insights, and share it with someone who might need some wisdom in their life today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.